Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Champagne Sundays with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Welcome, everybody. Today is a Big Fun Day Sunday. It is February 13th, 2022. You know, the big game day, it's happening today, and tomorrow's Valentine's Day. The next weekend is President's Day weekend, you know, long holiday, and the sun is shining here in Lubbock, Texas. So welcome, everybody. This is our Champagne Sundays Big Blend radio show. We are airing live from Texas because it is a beautiful day here, and we love Lubbock because we get to hang out with a very special cat. Her name is Cusco, and she is the queen of Lubbock. Right, Nancy?
Oh, she is. Absolutely.
Yep.
She
so
rules.
As always, we're your hosts, Nancy and Lisa. We are the crazy mother-daughter travel team on our Love Your Park store and publishers of Big Blend magazines and, of course, hosts of Big Blend Radio. This is one of our special anniversary shows. We're celebrating 25 years of the magazines in this country. Nancy had magazines in South Africa. Well, I think you just published them in South Africa just to put me to work. You know, that's what you do with your kids.
Oh, it was something to do, Lisa, you know.
I know. It's like not that we're ever bored. But, yeah, 25 years of magazines, 15 years of Big Blend Radio airing live on Blog Talk. Now we also do a lot of pre-records through Zoom and everything so you can see, watch the interviews, or listen, whichever you want. We air daily now, so you can check that out at bigblendradio.com. And we're celebrating 10 years of traveling across the country full-time, documenting parks and public lands on our Love Your Park store. So we're going to be doing a lot of this. I think the next one is in March. The first Sunday in March, we're going to be doing a Toast to Women, a special show for Women's History Month. So a lot of live shows coming up as we keep going through the year. And today we have some awesome guests joining us. Steve Schneickert, our Hollywood historian and good friend and actor, performer, singer, and the best Carol Channing impersonator you'll ever meet. Also, Elysse Wagner from Books Forward. Books Forward is a company we've been working with for years, and basically they really represent, on the publicity side, some of the best authors across this country and around the world even. And so we're glad to have her on the show because I think, Nancy, they've been with us since day one. Back in the JKS days, Julie Shirky, the founder. So, yeah, very excited to have Elysse on the show. And she's a certified bookworm, so we like her.
They must have some kind of ultra vibe on stuff because I have never read a bad book from them, ever. And when I see books coming in, I grab. You know I grab.
And the nicest guests. Their authors are so nice and so engaging and fun. So we're very excited to have her. And then Anna Karney is back on the show. She's a rock songstress from the Bay Area, and she's got a new album coming out and you're gonna want to get it. It's just excited. It's called Gonna Be Beautiful. So excited to have her back on the show. But Nancy, are you ready to get on the Big Blend party bus?
Lisa, I'm already on.
Party. You're on the party bus. I know.
Yeah.
So Priscilla is, this is the first time listening to our shows or knowing about us, Priscilla's our pink sock monkey, and she travels the country with us. She's our mascot. And she drives the Big Blend virtual party bus. She also makes snacks. She cooks, and she makes cocktails. So we're going to take the party bus. Since we're in Lubbock, we're going to go up to Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, to get Elysse on the show and see what she wants to eat and drink. So stay tuned. That was the shortest drive from Texas to Ohio. But listen, we're going to pick up Elysse now. Elysse Wagner over from Books Forward, and you can keep up with them at booksforward.com. Elysse, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me today.
Hey, we're excited to have you because you're a certified bookworm. And
Yes,
we like bookworms.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, just
All
don't
righty.
eat the pages. You're not supposed to eat the pages.
No,
That's
you
the only thing.
devour. You devour
Yeah.
the pages.
I devour them with my mind, and it's
I
beautiful
bet.
and brilliant. But I leave the hard copy so that I can share.
Oh, very nice. So listen, do you read predominantly the hard copy, or do you like it on audio, or do you like Kindle? What's your favorite way to devour literature?
Yeah. So I prefer the physical books, whether it's softcover, hardcover. I don't really have a preference. Now my husband, he will like not read anything that's paperback. He like has to have hardcover everything, which I think is so funny for the fact that he reads like one book a year. He won't read a hardcover book. But I like the physical aspect of the book and holding it and all of that. I'm old school in that way, but I do have a Kindle. I do have a Libro FM account. Like I do take whatever I can get, and a lot of the times, like if I can get a book on NetGalley that I can, download to my Kindle and stuff, like that's a great way to read an advanced reader copy. An audiobook I think is so fun, and it's something I can do while I'm, working around the house or, doing different things. So I do love that it affords me that. So a lot of different ways, but I definitely prefer to sit down with the book.
Right on. Well, listen,
Yep.
I want to know, do you like our party bus? Because our Big Blend party bus does have a bookshelf. Have you seen all the JKS? I'm saying JKS because that's how we first, connected with Books Forward. So we've got a JKS Books Forward bookshelf, and I swear there's probably like 1,000 books in there over the 15 years we've been.
Yes, I love it. And so it's funny that you call it JKS because when I started working with Books Forward, I was actually on the other side. So I was actually someone who reviewed books for JKS Communications on social media. And then, and I loved it, and I loved all of the books I read. So we share that in common.
Yeah.
And so I reached out, to the team, and I was like, hey, I'd love to work, for you guys if that ever, comes to be a possibility. And so that's how I got on with them. But yeah, I've been technically, working with them since the JKS days as well.
Right on. See, now you get a champagne toast right now for being proactive in life and going for it. Because how many people, normally people will sit and wait for a job opening, right?
No.
But you went for it. So that's cool.
I did.
Yes.
And I always tell people to go for it because, you just never know. And it was a dream job for me. I didn't know if I would ever be able to work in books. Like, we're in Dayton, Ohio, right? So it's not necessarily the book capital of the world or anything like that. And I love living here. My whole family's in Southwest Ohio, and I always wanted to work in books and didn't want to leave. But I didn't know if that would ever be possible. And so you just have to go out and try.
Right on. Well, listen, before we got to. Yeah, I think so. You got to do your thing. Priscilla, our sock monkey, would like to get you a beverage and something to nibble on since we are having our champagne brunch. She would like to take your order. What would you like to eat and drink?
Is this for me?
Yes.
Goodness. Eat and drink. Well, it's champagne toast, right? So mimosas, right?
Okay, mimosas are in.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. She can do that. She's very good at that.
Yes.
And then
what
would you like to eat? Yeah.
Something to nibble on. Now, I'm a big fan of, like, donuts. Like, if I had to choose, like, I think, chocolate donut with sprinkles. Can we do that?
Ooh, chocolate and mimosas. Ooh, now this is getting good. I'm in. I think you're the first donut girl on our show, right, Nancy?
I
don't think anyone's had. I like donuts for breakfast, no matter what. You could be having a toddy for breakfast with donuts, and I'm just going to say I've done that.
You could do donuts with a chocolate icing or glaze on them with bacon bits.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. So sit down in the bus. You don't have to put your seatbelts on because we fly and there's nothing in our way. Just, drink up, enjoy your donuts, and we're going to go to San Jose, and Priscilla knows the way, and we're going to go pick up Hollywood historian Steve Schneickert, who apparently has a lot to say about the big game today. So stay tuned for Steve. It's time to get him on the bus. I swear that music was ripped off of Sex and the City. I swear to God.
That is pretty sexy music.
Every time I hear that, I'm like, that is a ripoff of Sex and the City. So everybody, speaking of Sex and the City, we're going to San Jose. And I think we've arrived. Priscilla? No, we're not having sex now, Priscilla. Put your clothes back on. I just have to, she's a naughty little monkey. But she's very excited to see Steve. And Steve has actually met Priscilla. Steve Schneickert, sometimes we like to call him Snickerbar, for fun, is joining us. Welcome back on the show, Steve. How are you?
The Cincinnati Bengals. That's my choice. That's Carol Channing talking in.
We do know.
I'm just channeling today, but I'll let you back to Steve. Okay?
Yes, it's Carol Channing.
Hi. How are you, ladies? And Priscilla.
Listen,
sweetheart.
I think Carol Channing wants some champagne. I think she wants some champagne. I think she was sneaking on
Carol
here.
Channing wants gin.
Yes.
Oh, well.
And she doesn't really care about the tonic either.
Exactly.
We're a little early for that, so we'll have to pick her up at the end of the show. But welcome back.
No,
Steve.
but she's here in our heart. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was her birthday just a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
101.
Toast to champagne. Toast some gin to her. Let me get off the champagne bus with Carol.
We'll get those dishes out there.
You need olives. You need green olives, gin martini.
What would you like, Steve? Priscilla's ready to take your order.
Oh,
she says that she does
Priscilla.
have some peanut butter cookies, by the way, for Bella. Your sweet
good
pup,
for Bella. Bella will like that. Thank you, Priscilla. I would just like some Perrier with lime. Just a nice sparkling water with a lime twist.
Yeah? Nothing to eat?
Well, to eat. Some toast.
Some toast?
Some
no
salmon.
donuts? Come on, it's a party. Come on. We got donuts with bacon and chocolate.
No, I will give you my I will give you my menu. It's salmon, scrambled eggs for Nancy Bacon. I will eat bacon today for Nancy.
Okay, Elysse, are we going to be able to give you some eggs and some salmon, or are you 100% on the donuts?
I mean, I'm not a fish person, but
bacon.
I really don't want
Elysse,
I like
Elysse,
bacon.
can I have one of your donuts?
Yes, absolutely.
May I have one of your donuts? The jelly-filled ones with the glaze on top?
That is comfortable, yes.
Oh, cool. Yay.
That's funny. That's funny. Now, listen, we've got everyone, and by the way, Nancy and I are eating pizza.
Good.
Well, that's new.
Is it cold?
No. You take leftover pizza, you reheat it, and actually it's best to do it in a frying pan so that it's not it doesn't get moist in the microwave. You don't want it over moist, and if you put it in the oven, it'll dry.
Yes.
So you put a little bit more cheese, and Nancy does the egg where it's not too hard and not too runny on top of the pizza. So I'm just saying, this is how healthy we are here on Big Blend Radio. But it's a Champagne Sunday show, and we all want to give a toast to something that we're happy about. First up, we want to toast our audience and everyone who's ever been on our show or in our magazine or supported us in, marketing, anything. Anybody who's even shared a post, thank you, because you know what, we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much. So champagne toast.
Well,
and
let's
champagne
put
toast
it this
everyone.
way, Lisa, we wouldn't be here without the both of you.
Well, we didn't give birth, but thank you.
Well, of course.
No. We appreciate that, and we appreciate all of you.
Of course.
But Champagne Sundays Toast is really, for those who are new to our show, this is our flagship show where we started and said, hey, if we're going to do a radio show, we're going to do it on Sunday, where this is our family tradition of drinking champagne or whatever we want. It could be water, it could be, anything. It's about, no matter what's going on in the world, there's always something good to be happy about. And apparently there's a lot to be happy about today. We just published our brand new magazine called Quality of Life. Check it out at blendradioandtv.com. So sorry, we had to plug that,
Of course.
It's a brand new baby. And by the way, some Books Forward authors,
and it's a beautiful
a lot of them are in there.
baby.
Thank you.
Yes, it is a brand new baby. Thank you. So, Champagne Toast, Nancy, this is your tradition that you started. So what are you toasting to, besides you're the mother?
Well, of course, the magazine. But I also, just where we are right now in Lubbock, Texas, I stand outside and I look up and I see hundreds and hundreds of geese, snow geese here, flying over to wherever they're landing. They're migrating back to the Antarctica. And it's just the most amazing sight. So I just sit here and drink. I'm looking up and trying to figure out, how do you drink while looking up? We need a straw. But it's the most amazing thing. I mean, there's so many snow geese, and they're all talking.
No, they're Canadian. These aren't snow.
There's snow geese and Canadian. They're all living.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. So I talk to them. I don't say, hey, are you Canadian or are you snow? I'm just saying, hi, guys, girls.
Yeah. Don't be picky. Well, yeah, and we saw all the snow geese in Hagerman National Wildlife Refuge the other day,
exactly.
And they crossed the road. It was like, why did the geese cross the road? Because there's green grass on the side. It was
there's more fruit on the other side.
It was amazing. The geese are incredible out here. It really is so true. So true. Elysse, what are you toasting to?
I am toasting, and I'm, again, not a huge football person. I'm a book person, but being that I'm an Ohioan, the Cincinnati Bengals, it's where I'm from, and I'm super excited for them to be in the Super Bowl today. Again, I'm not a huge football person, but I am a big Cincinnati person, so I'm very excited for that.
Yay, and not to interrupt on your segment, but yay.
Yay.
I thought you might like it.
Yes.
Heck yeah. And listen, so you're near Cincinnati, so we have actually driven through your area.
Yeah, we have.
Really?
And we'll be back. Mm-hmm. We will be back in Ohio this summer because we are going to drive the Jefferson Highway, which goes from Winnipeg to New Orleans. And we're going to be doing we're going to be up and down, like a lot. But anyway, so part of the thing, we're going to continue Champagne Toast, but with Books Forward, with us traveling the country, we do have a special thing where we go around and find literary landmarks and stories of authors across the country, especially those in history. We've found so many, from Helen Hunt Jackson to Carolyn Dorman, and in Natchitoches, Helen Hunt Jackson, in Colorado Springs. I mean, it just goes on and on. Ben-Hur, did you know that was written in Santa Fe, New Mexico? I mean, it was just all of these. We found all these stories, and we have a map that we're putting together, so you can go on the map and click on the author icons. And so I just want to say we have to go and do something in Dayton now, like in Ohio, because you're there, Elysse.
Irma Bombeck was from
here.
here.
Oh, cool.
No
So that
way.
should be your connection.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to go
her.
see Irma. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Irma Bombeck, we've Thomas Wolfe, O. Henry, both of them are in Asheville. They're resting there, I should say.
Well, they're there.
But Irma Bombeck is cool. We got to go do that. Okay, so that would be fun. All right, we're putting that on the list. Steve, what is your champagne toast?
My champagne toast is to my sister Jill, who her birthday was on February 9th. She has been gone since 1999, and I just wanted to toast her. Up in heaven, heavenly birthday, Jill. I love you.
Toasted Jill.
And
well,
people are never
she's
really
going to be
gone.
amazing.
People are never really gone. When you think of them, they're in your heart, your soul. You think of them,
Spirit,
they're never
she's
gone.
in my heart. She's with me. You bet.
Yep.
My parents are too.
Well,
so
I'm
it's my
giving kind of
principal from 5th grade. You.
Oh no! Come on.
And also you and A. Martinez.
Oh, here it goes. The actor. Yep. I'm toasting to Hal Moore. We got to go. This is another one of these things as we travel the country. Mike Guardia is an incredible author. He's got 21 books. His next one is coming out next month in March. He is an award-winning military historian and author. I think he got the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Military Writers Society of America. I'll get the society name right, but he got the Lifetime Achievement Award. And so 21 books. And it started, and he's also a veteran, U.S. Army veteran, and it started when he wrote the biography of Hal Moore. And Hal Moore is one of the most admired American combat leaders of the last 50 years. He was known for being portrayed by Mel Gibson in the movie We Were Soldiers. See, here's our movie. I'm doing books and movies. And he was a 1945 graduate of West Point. And his first combats were in the Korean War, where he fought in the battles of Old Baldy, T-Bone, and Pork Chop Hill. He was also in the Vietnam War. This is where it really got intense. He commanded the 1st Battalion of the 7th Cavalry in the first full-fledged battle between the U.S. and North Vietnamese. His story is incredible. So the movie is We Were Soldiers, and Mike wrote the book Hal Moore, A Soldier Once and Always, and he's actually written a couple others about Hal Moore on leadership, and then also done a photo storybook. And when we were in Kentucky a couple years ago, right there in Bardstown, they have they've created a museum in his legacy, and then also in this museum, which is actually kind of a small museum, managed to have an exhibit on every single war, all the way up to the Gulf War, and an incredible, just their legacy. And Hal Moore, it's almost Valentine's Day. Hal Moore and his wife were quite the team, and Hal Moore's wife did a lot for military women waiting during the war when their husbands did not come home. She did a lot for spouses, and so she's just a hero as well. So we went there, and we got to see the museum and tour there, and then also got to see Hal Moore's childhood home. So he was born on February 13, 1922. He passed on February 10th, 2017. So I'm toasting to Hal Moore because he truly was one of these leaders who did not let those he was leading in battle he didn't drop them. He came and picked them up with a helicopter and said, hell no, we're taking you out.
No man left behind.
Exactly. So
no man left behind.
Yeah, toast to Hal Moore. But that goes to Elysse.
Beautiful, Lisa. That was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Elysse, going from books to movies, is that something a lot of the authors that you deal with want to happen, or do you ever come across authors who are like, no, that would ruin it?
That's a great question. I feel like everybody wants to see their book as a movie. I don't think I've ever met somebody who has not felt like their book should be cinematic or, that it couldn't be. And I think a lot of that comes down to, how much work that authors put into their descriptions, and is it something that we could view on a screen, or that would benefit from that sort of thing. And certainly, we've had authors that have had that happen and who have had that success. And one of them was Eric Maykrantz, the Reincarnationist Papers.
Yes,
which
ended
up I was going to say, I think you guys are familiar with him, but he, his book turned into a movie starring Mark Wahlberg, and so it's like crazy that things like that, happen, and it's so cool. And I know how hard it is to get things like that to happen, but certainly when it does, it's so exciting, and I think everybody strives for that.
Yeah, and you just hope that they have the integrity to the book,
Yes.
I think always people go into the movie, if they've read the book, going, okay, enjoy the movie, but no, the book is always better.
Exactly.
You always have that. Yeah, Nancy read Kathy A. Lewis was just on our show, and she's the author of The Road We Took, 4 Days in Germany, 1933, and it's about an American Boy Scout who discovers 4 desperate Jewish citizens attempting to escape Nazi Germany. And Nancy, you finished this and said that it should be in every school and college.
Yeah. Yep.
Movie would be good. We think this should be in as a movie as well. And
I love it. I love it because we feel that with Kathy too. We of course love her book and everything she put into it.
Exactly.
It's such an important and yet personalized kind of story. It should. I mean, I love the movie thing. I really want it to be a movie, but even to me, more importantly, it should be in the classroom. It should be reading for students who are trying to understand what really happened and what kicked off World War II and why we had to go fight. I really, because I know following that, came the hippie generation and was like, no, just peace, no war. And I'm like, well, I'm a hippie. That's cool, but there are times when you have to fight.
Yeah. Exactly.
There are times.
Yeah. Steve, for you, I know Steve is a voracious reader, right? And you've read so many books, Steve. It's a big deal for you. And I know you've got some favorites, but is there a favorite book for you that did turn into a movie that you can say they both rocked, where you didn't leave the movie? Because I know you're an actor, performer, singer, dancer, entertainer, know all of these movies over the years, but when you can walk away saying, okay, they were both really good, and you didn't have that feeling like, oh, they ruined what the book what the book was trying to portray.
My favorite is To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's a great movie.
That's what did it. I actually thought the movie was better than the book. There was too much in the book.
Oh.
And the movie captured everything you needed to know.
The book was heavy.
Yeah.
It was really heavy. And it was...
Yes.
But it was important.
Well, of course.
But
I
think it also,
the movie fulfilled what was written in that book. Harper Lee, brilliant writer. My goodness.
Yeah.
Her best friend, Truman Capote, as Bill. My goodness.
That's right. I want to go to you, Elysse. You were saying something there?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think, too, it depends on how you take in stories. Like, for me, I know I am I'm a highly sensitive person. So, for me, there's a lot of books, whether it's, a historical account that tends to be more graphic, or if it's, a horror story, like Stephen King, I could read, but I could not watch a movie based on a Stephen King novel.
I agree.
Like mysteries and thrillers, I can't do. I'm just so sensitive.
Why?
And there's certain things that I do better reading. And it's funny because my husband is on the opposite of that. He loves stories, but he has to be able to watch it. He can't sit with just words on a page. He wants to be able to visualize it. So I think it comes down to how are you best at learning or taking in a story.
And that's something when you were starting off with doing reviews, right? Obviously you brought that quality into, working with press releases and getting the best part of the book out so people know, without spoiler alerts. That's where Nancy's dangerous. I always try to take the book away before the guest comes on the show because, and she tells me every other page, this happened, this happened. That's how I know when they're good, and I'm like, don't ruin it. But, it's like, how do you put this into a review, which is so crucial for authors. But, going through that part, being able to walk away and then put it into a paragraph, or even a couple sentences, right? That is quite a talent to be able to do that. So going into the PR mode, that was pretty much, that was like your ammunition, right? Going in there knowing
it was. And it's so hard because you want to, give people a taste without giving them the full meal, and you want them to want the full meal having just had a bite. So it's hard. but it's something that I really enjoyed doing, personally. And then, now that it's put me into this professional, career, I really like that I started that way, because I think it does help me to know how to catch the attention of someone who would be like me on the other side.
How hard is it as book publicists? Because, by the way, it's champagne toast to everybody at Books Forward, because you're all so fun and friendly and easy to work with. No, listen, I work with so many PR people, and I remember telling Julie, like, that's it. I know once in a while we do something, if it's particular to national parks or something because of our Parks and Travel magazine. I'm like, that's it. This is who we're dealing with, because you guys have a press kit. Like, everything is there. You don't have to ask for anything. It's just there. Whatever you need, it's all done. It's so professional, and everyone's so friendly and easy to work with, and it's just like this amazing team. But, I mean, there's a lot of you in there. It's not like, hundreds and thousands, but, of people, but you guys are so hands-on. How is it for you guys to, like, hey, listen, I stayed up till 3-4 in the morning with the book, and then, like, now we have to talk to people at 8 in the morning or something. Do you ever run into that problem?
Yes and no. I think what's interesting for me is having come into this role and being part of, a team that's quite a bit smaller than where I was. I was in healthcare doing marketing prior to being at Books Forward, and it was like 4,000 people, and I would stay up and read till 2-3 in the morning every night, but I would go in at 8 a.m. the next morning, and there was nobody to like talk to about it, and there was no, and it was just like getting back, into work, and it was nice that there was that separation in some ways, but it also was kind of lonely. And so now what I love the most is being part of a community of like-minded people that are looking for, similar things, that we have things in common. I feel like that's kind of rare when you work. It's a job. It's not necessarily to be, close to people or to have commonalities other than the fact that you want to make whatever you're working on successful for the company. But we also have like a vested interest in having a passion for what we do, which is very unique and something I feel very lucky to have.
I think awesome. That when you have jobs, like I used to work in the insurance company. Oh boy, I saw too many things, and I tried my best. I was really good at it, but eventually I just walked out one day. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. What I see on this level is really, really not a good thing. So a job, that's not going to last. You got to find something that you love, that you're good at, that becomes a vocation. I don't like what I say with what we do. I don't think of this as a job at all. And if I did, I would quit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I would quit.
Yeah.
Because the job is like whatever the hours are, whatever the pay is, it just means you're just not having fun, or it's not interesting, or you're bored, or you feel taken advantage of. There's all those things. You got to get out and go do something where you don't feel that way.
I agree.
Yes. And I love that. And I think it's really rare to find. I think what I've learned is I was very blessed to have a job where, even being in healthcare and being in marketing there, I felt very blessed to have that job. And sometimes that's the best you can ask for, is a job that you can turn off at 5 p.m. and like be done with the day like that. I think for a lot of people, I think I didn't value that the way that I should have, because I do think that was a great job. However, from the other side now, seeing what it feels like to be invigorated by a job, like I'm like, yes, I should have appreciated that more, because I just think in general it's better to appreciate things. I feel like I'm always I just work on that, right? I always want to appreciate what I had. I never would be, unhappy with what I was doing before, but I appreciate it now for what it was, and I appreciate Books Forward even more for what it has been for me and what it feels like to actually, really be passionate about what you're doing. And I think is not something that a lot of people get out of their day-to-day, and that makes me sad because I want everybody to feel, completely invigorated with what they're doing. So whenever people talk to me and say, how did you get into books or how did you do it? I'm like, there's nothing special about me. Like you really just have to, put yourself out there and try, because, the opportunities will present themselves, and it is the best job I could have ever asked for.
That's awesome.
That's
so
cool.
What are you reading now? I mean, it's like, I always ask people what's on, music playlist, whatever, but what is on the book list? What are you going to devour, bookworm?
Well, I just started reading Black Cake, which is the Read with Jenna pick this month. So I'm reading that. And I also just got a copy of the new Christina Lauren book that comes out in May. So it's not out yet. I got an advanced reader copy, and it's called Something Wilder. And I did not know if I would get one of those coveted advanced reader copies, so I'm really excited to read that. So those are probably the two I'm going to be most excited about this week.
Cool.
Very, very cool. Steve, are you reading anything?
Am I still here? Oh, yes. I am.
No, I said, are you reading?
Right now, I can't remember the title of it. I can walk to it and let you know. But I am reading Big Blend magazine.
Oh, Our Quality of Life. Well, thank you. That is
yes, we appreciate
How was that?
And there's a lot of books for authors in there. A lot of memoirs, business books, everything from what do women do when they get fired to making the art of making a choice, memoirs dealing with cancer, dealing with being a resident in, medical school. There's children's
or
books.
mispronouncing names.
That would be Lisa. That would be me. That's what I do. That's why I'm just saying what we have.
I wasn't referring to that.
Oh, I know. You're talking about the Schneickert bar. But
the Schneickert bar.
Yes, Elysse.
Elysse. My name is Elysse. I know. We're giving Craig Avery, who's a really great host of a radio show over in England.
He's a good guy.
And he's a good guy, but he does not get Steve's last name correct. So my
last name is Schneickert, but he calls me Schneickert.
Schneickert.
Like
so,
sneakers.
but anyway, we got to do the champagne
toast to Craig. And he's known me for over 10 years. Anyway, the book I'm reading right now is The House in the Grulian Sea by T.H. Clune.
Ooh. Very cool. Is it what's it about? Can you tell us, or did you just start?
I just started, but it's actually about this gentleman that goes to these different homes with people who are extremely expound in their, how do I put the words? Like, if you could point a finger at a pencil and lift it up.
Oh, you got
powers.
You got
powers. Yeah. And so he's going to be transformed into their unit because he's very sensitive to their feelings. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that would be a nice little change.
Yeah, that's like the meditation levitation. That's cool.
No,
but
that's
the people
not
that bend
all
spoons.
that they do. It's not all that they do. It's, almost like, even the Village of the Damned. But they aren't that.
Are we back to the cult?
You know how those bright eyes go and they hurt the people that are going to hurt them? No. Not like that. But that's what I'm reading.
It's a great book. I loved that one.
Cool.
Dude, seriously, how can you bring Elysse on and she hasn't not read it? That's funny as heck.
Well,
Are you
of course.
serious?
No.
I love T.J. Clune.
Cool. There you go.
This is great. Well, Nancy and I are about to read Campfire Confessions because we're recording next week. So Campfire Confessions. Well, it sounds good. We're park travelers and women out in the bush. So I thought that would be good.
You said bush.
I did. We're out there. You know how we get out there in the wilds, and then we call Steve and tell him, we're covered in poison ivy.
Yes.
the normal thing that we do. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I haven't read it yet, but that's the next one on our list. We just both finished, and Walks Farman. Got to give a shout out to Walks Farman by Jim Ostick, which is about following the Pacific Crest Trail, but learning about the Native American roots of the trail. And
he really writes well.
He does,
really
doesn't he? Do you read his blog posts? He's really good.
Yes.
He's amazing.
Very good.
He's amazing. Nancy, you just finished Be Still the Night call with Joshua Center, whose interview aired yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And I also read The Minds of Mass Killers. And
The Minds of Mass Killers. Everyone, that will be coming up on Big Glen Radio in about a week. Wow. Elysse, have you read that? Did you get a chance to read that one?
No, I have not. I want to say I have it though. Like that might have been one that I got from a publisher.
Yeah, it's a books forward author, and she is incredible. And Joshua Center, everyone's got to read his writing too. He was a writer on Desperate Housewives, and then so when you get when you get to a TV writer goes into a novel, you're reading something that moves fast. I love screenwriters and TV writers that turn into novels because they just there's no fluff inside their books.
They're writing in movie mode.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, TV mode. It's different than movie mode.
Yes.
TV mode is even quicker.
Yeah.
Than movie mode.
Exactly.
Movie mode, you'll do a scene for 24 hours before you move on to the next one.
Yeah.
TV mode, they add on scenes that you'll film in that one day.
So you've done both, right? And then stage. So does stage go more like movie or like TV?
No, stage is more live.
Yeah.
Because you're out there 2.5 hours performing a character, and if you boo-boo, you make up for it. You let the show go on.
Kind of like Big Glen Radio.
Unlike the movies where you can stop. I totally love doing stage plays, musical comedy, because they move so fast. You know, come on.
I love it. So, Elysse, I know you have to run and go have fun. You've got a big game party going on. You've got a lot happening in Dayton, Ohio.
Elysse, you were not going to listen to my Hollywood history?
I'm so sorry. It'll be something that I listen to.
No, that's cool. I'm just giving you a...
No, she'll hear it. She can hear it on demand at any time.
Yeah.
But Elysse, it has been a real pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for joining us, and please give a hug to everybody, a virtual hug to everyone at Books Forward. Again, everyonebooksforward.com is the website. And listen, keep up with Elysse on social media, and I've got to give it's Compulsive Readers Blog on Instagram.
Yeah,
it's the right place, right, for everyone to keep up. Yeah, she's compulsive, and she devours books. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Right on.
Nice meeting you, Elysse.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
All right. Here it is. So, Steve, before we get to your Hollywood history, we're going to play a little music from one of our favorite bands, The Madison.
Are you really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. This is
That's
The Madison.
awesome.
You love Lizzie
Oh,
Harris.
they are. Lizzie,
Yes.
of course.
Yes. We always play their music. So here it is. This is a song by Tanita Tikaram. And we always want to play this whenever it's Valentine's Day. It's called Valentine Heart that they covered. So take a listen, everyone. The Madisons, go to madisonsmusic.com. They're awesome. Here it is, and then we'll play Steve's Hollywood history segment right after that, which is all about romantic movies because Valentine's Day is tomorrow. And then we have Annie Karney joining us to talk about her upcoming new release. So, she's such an awesome musician. So anyway, here it is, Valentine Heart.
Valentine with complaints. Would you take me back to your house, which is sated with lust and a listless shade? If I could have held you once more in that light, it's nothing to you, but it keeps me alive like Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's heart anyway. I want to see you again. I want to see you again. It's so simple and plain that I'll come back and see you again. The lie is the angel, it doesn't exist. Tell you it's funny, but you like to twist up my words. It's a shame you're so young. My word, it's a shame I'm so dumb. I figure a house with the smoke and the fence. People around here would be, please take my word on this. I would believe, just believe in you. I would believe, just believe in you. In 5 days you'll catch me around here with my ring, with a visit for friendship that meant everything to the girl with the clown face. To the girl with the clown face round here.
Everyone, again, that was Valentine Heart by the Madisons, madisonsmusic.com. Keep up with them. And that was their version of the Tanita Tikaram song. God, you never hear about Tanita Tikaram that much anymore. She's like an amazing artist as well. But Steve Schneickert, are you ready for your Hollywood history segment from the vault?
Sure, if you're ready.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Nancy,
up to
are
you.
you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Well, good. Very good. Took you a while there. She's like, I don't know.
I know.
I thought
that was
she was
sweet,
gonna,
Nancy. Thank you.
I know. I was like, well, what kind of question is that?
No, Nancy was out in the bush somewhere. That's what I thought. You know. But here it is. Here it
bush
is.
again.
Yeah, I know.
But at least you didn't stay moist. Good.
I know. Well, we did. Oh, we watched something on Netflix last night, and they said that. She goes, okay. It was something to do with moist and fungus. But anyway, you know, the word moist, do not like that word.
No, stop it. Hello.
All right.
Sunday.
Anyways, here it is. This is Steve's Hollywood history segment from, I don't know how many years ago. It was one of the first ones he did on our show. At least?
At least.
Well, it's a romance history. Hollywood history, so take a listen because you get to hear Steve's thing. Take a listen. Oh, is that a
Those
moist
are kisses.
That was. There we go.
It's very clear our love is here to stay, not for a year, but ever and a day. Romance Hollywood style has almost always been a projection of the desires, yearnings, and aspirations of the men. And yes, they're usually men who run the film industry. Romance films are love stories, or affairs of the heart that center on passion, emotion, and the romantic. Affection and involvement of the main characters, usually a leading man and lady, and the journey that their love takes through courtship or marriage, whether it be drama, comedy, or musical. Our love affair is a wondrous thing that we'll rejoice in remembering. An Affair to Remember is a 1957 film starring Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr and directed by Leo McCarey. The film is considered one of the most romantic of all time. Nicky Ferrante, a well-known playboy and dilettante in the arts, meets Terry McKay aboard a transatlantic ocean liner en route from Europe to New York. Each is involved with someone else. After a serious chance of meetings aboard the ship, they establish a friendship. When Terry joins Nicky on a brief visit to his grandmother when the ship anchors near her home on the Mediterranean coast, she sees Nicky with new eyes, and their feelings blossom into love. The last line of the film is quite touching. Terry says, "If you can paint, I can walk. Anything can happen, don't you think?" As tears fall from Nicky's eyes. So take my hand with a fervent prayer that we may live and we may share a love affair to remember. You are woman, I am man. Isn't this the height of nonchalance, furnishing a bed in restaurants? 1968's Funny Girl, starring Barbra Streisand and Omar Sharif, produced by Ray Stark and directed by William Wyler, is set in and around New York City, just prior to and following World War I. Funny Girl, originally titled My Man, opens with Ziegfeld Follies star Fanny Brice awaiting the return of husband Nicky Arnstein from prison, and then moves into an extended flashback focusing on their meeting, romance, and marriage. A lot of wonderful musical numbers take place throughout the film, one especially when Nicky eventually seduces Fanny in a chance meeting in a private dining room in the hotel he is staying at. Ooh, the thrills and chills going through me. If I stop him now, can he sue me? You are woman, I am man. Let's kiss. It had to be you. It had to be you. I've wandered around, finally found somebody who. Rob Reiner directs 1989's When Harry Met Sally, starring Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. Rumor has it that when the Prince and Princess of Wales were attending the premiere of When Harry Met Sally, their entire row dislocated their necks trying to see if the Royal Highnesses laughed at the scene where Meg Ryan demonstrates how to counterfeit an orgasm in a crowded delicatessen, which, of course, like couples the world over, they did. On and off for 11 years, Harry and Sally ostensibly debate whether men and women can be non-sexual friends. But that issue instantly evaporates, and the question becomes, when will they realize they were meant for each other. What Harry and Sally do in the meantime, the true focus of this often funny but amazingly hollow film, is saunter through the romanticized lives of intelligent, successful, neurotic New Yorkers. It had to be you. You've got to give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. Stanley Kramer directed 1967's Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Old line liberals Matt and Christine Drayton, Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, have raised their daughter Joey, Catherine Houghton, to think for herself and not blindly conform to the conventional. Still, they are not prepared for the shock when she returns home from a vacation with a new fiancé, African-American doctor John Prentice, Sidney Poitier. While they come to grips with whatever prejudices they might still harbor, the younger folks must also contend with John's parents, who are dead set against the union. While Joey is determined to go ahead with the wedding no matter what people think, John refuses to consider marriage until he receives the unqualified approval of all concerned. The closing monologue, delivered by Spencer Tracy in one take, turned out to be the last scene ever played by the veteran film luminary, who died 17 days after the movie was completed. He died in the arms of his co-star, Katharine Hepburn, who he had had a 20-plus year long-term relationship with. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. I am Steve Schneickert, and this is Hollywood history as I recall it.
Everyone, Steve Schneickert, Hollywood history. That was from the vault on romantic films. He's got Spencer Tracy, and Katharine Hepburn, and Sidney Poitier. Listen, I got that in my fingernails.
That even goes back even longer than 6 years.
That does.
That
That's
was before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the call-in ones. Yeah.
Those were a long time. And then you've got to think, you've got Sidney Poitier in there, and rest in peace, and champagne toast to him. He really was always an icon. He
awesome
really
actor.
is just amazing.
Always my favorite. Lilies of the Field. Wonderful.
Oh, man. I'm sorry.
To
I
Serve
feel like
with Love.
I watched that as a kid and made me think
well,
about
I have that
school
here
differently.
on my DVD. When you guys come to visit, you can watch it.
Well, we'll see you soon. It could happen. We're on our way. Hey, listen, we're heading west. We're leaving Lubbock, Texas. The end of this week, and then we're going to go see our good friend Jerry Hagman at Homestead Inn in 29 Palms in our old hometown. We're going to go there, and then we go up California. We're going to go through San Jose, the Bay Area, and up to Oregon and Washington State, and we'll be in the Pacific Northwest for like the entire spring season into early summer. Yeah, the entire spring. We will, and the rest of winter. I don't know about the winter up there, but but we are going to see what we can do about stopping by to say hi to you and Miss Bella. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Miss Bella. He misses you.
All right. Listen,
he misses
speaking
Nancy
of
and you.
the California region, our next guest is from the Bay Area, and she rocks. She totally does. Anna Karney was on our show, and I was looking up, talk about going back in time, 2018. That seems so far away. She was on our show with her album, EP No Mercy, and she's joining us today. She's got her latest release is called Gonna Be Beautiful. It's coming out February 18th. You can get it on Bandcamp. I encourage, if you're going to buy music from musicians online and get it to stream or MP3s, Bandcamp is so much better, and they do these Bandcamp Fridays where the musicians get their money. How about that?
Wow.
I know. It's pretty cool. So it's Karney.bandcamp.com, or go to Karney.org, and that's Karney with a K, and not like carne asada, like it's Karney with a K. But we're going to bring her on the show. But first, let's play the title track, Gonna Be Beautiful, and we'll have a chat with her. I can't wait to chat with her again. We had so much fun with her last time. So stay tuned. She's a positive spirit for sure. Here it is, Gonna Be Beautiful.
Vision in plain sight. Bring it all into focus. I have been waiting for so long, while the years go on and on. Trying to build bridges in a song. Dark water. I'm just trying to keep breathing. But when all the paints run together, it looks like whatever. And it's gonna be beautiful. I have been waiting for so long, while the years go on and on and on. Writing my love notes in a song. One thing I know for sure, I can't do it by myself. I need somebody else. I need somebody
listening to Big Blend Radio's Champagne Sunday show with Nancy and Lisa, and that was Gonna Be Beautiful by the awesome, rockin', lady, musician, songwriter, singer. She is awesome. Anna Karney from the Bay Area, and I encourage you to go get her music. Go to Karney.org, and that's Karney with a K, or go get it on Bandcamp. The album is out. The EP is out on February 18th. But welcome back to the show, Anna. How are you?
I'm well. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Can you hear us?
Good.
Okay.
Great. Hello.
Cool.
Yeah. I was just loving that guitar solo by James. Oh my God, he's such an amazing guitarist.
I love that. I love that part. I was going to say to you, man, that guitar, that whole, like, you're just gliding, and flying and, enjoying. Yeah. And I love your lyrics on this song too. Thank you. Even building bridges of the song, I'm like, because it always comes down to that in writing a song. It's like, how do we get? You either start with the bridge or like you have to get that part in there.
All right. Well, I've been listening to your show, and I just want to first say to Steve Schneickert, are you still there, Steve?
Schneickert. We call him Schneickert Bar now.
Schneickert Bar.
Uh-oh. I want you to know you and I
love your song. Gosh.
Thank you. You and I
I'm still here. I'm reeling from it.
I worked with Carol Channing.
Oh, cool.
I actually co-wrote.
Did you really?
I co-wrote with a colleague of mine what's called a kind of a combo version of all her biggest hits.
Wow.
And then we traveled to Hawaii to perform them as part of her The First 84 Years Are the Hardest tour.
Right.
So I just wanted to
Did you know B. Harlan Bowl, her PR man?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just the keyboardist who co-wrote the combo. And
you wouldn't know. Then I guess you wouldn't know him. That's fine.
Yeah,
but wait,
and she went to my high school.
God.
Yeah, she graduated from my high school. Yeah. Now, the second thing is, I'm with you on that To Kill a Mockingbird. That's my top movie of all time. I've seen it like 25 times. Okay, just wanted to know.
I like to watch it once a year.
See?
Yeah.
It's a very important movie. It really is. It is. I told Steve he needed to be on the show. I called him up. I said, look, this is our, we got to do the Hollywood history. I first said, hey, you want to come on the show? And he's done, two anniversary parties so far.
Right.
And he goes, why? Yeah. I said, well, we're doing your Hollywood history, and we got cool guests. He goes, okay.
I did not say why. Shame on you, Lisa.
You did. You said why.
Shame on you.
And
if that why was said, it was in a smile. It was like a force.
I know. I'm thinking of that. Listen,
you saucy little wench.
I was going to get it. Yeah. I was out in the bush at the time. But he did Steve is awesome. Listen, Steve is a person we call wherever we get, we have to tell him we made it. Somehow we skidded in or slid in or however we got to wherever we got. He knows, and we do mess around a bit. But I just had this feeling, and I did not know that Anna was connected with Carol Channing. I think this is the coolest thing ever.
I think that's
really cool.
awesome.
That's
cool.
So
awesome.
There's a third
with that
connection,
and Jerry Herman. Did you meet him also?
Jerry Herman? No, I only met Jim Neighbors.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah. The Impossible Dream. Could you imagine that Goober's voice with that operatic?
Oh, yeah. No, he came up out of the audience to shake my hand at her concert. I was like, wow,
nice.
He was such a nice man. Yeah. And you know what? I met Sidney Poitier as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I love that one.
Yes, but
my
I was very
meeting.
young. I was 8 years old, and he was shooting. I guess it was Goodbye, Mr. Tibbs, right? Was that the movie? I'm sorry.
At that point.
Yeah. And he was filming in our neighborhood, and he came to our schoolyard, and and we all gathered around him, and he patted all of our heads because we were 8 years old, and he was so much taller than us. So he just went around and he just patted on top of. So my head was pet by Sidney Poitier.
You gotta say you've been patted. You can't say you've been petted by Sidney Poitier. You gotta say you've been patted.
Patted. Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Should never, ever do anything with that spot again. No hairspray. No.
Is that what I should have done with Steve McQueen's handshake and Shirley MacLaine's handshake?
Never use your hand again.
Did you have a feeling when you shook Shirley MacLaine's hand?
Nancy. No, the Shirley MacLaine thing came up. I was with friends. We went to see her show in San Francisco. And all of a sudden, apparently, she opened her show in the audience. Well, guess who she was standing by when the lights came up? Me. And so through that, got the handshake and got to go backstage afterwards for a autographed photo of the program for my dad. My dad was in love with her. Yeah. My dad was in love with her. So.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty cool because she always picked somebody with good vibrations before she went on, and then would run down the aisle and do her show.
Wow. Well, you know, now our Shirley MacLaine connection is that we've been to where she's filmed. But no, seriously, Natchitoches, Louisiana. We were just there in where Still Magnolia was filmed. Yes, and so we didn't meet her, but she's also there's a lady called Judith Orloff, and she writes about getting toxic people out of your life. And Shirley MacLaine was in her book, and we've interviewed Judith Orloff a couple times over the years. And Shirley MacLaine was in her book talking about this power of positive vibration, positivity, and now everyone's going to think I'm really woo-woo, but I am. Shirley MacLaine she talks also, I think she had to do with meditation and dreaming, and I loved her part in the book more than anyone else's because it was just, she just kind of understands that you can go to different levels of consciousness, basically, and it's I love Shirley MacLaine.
Well, isn't that what you do in meditation?
Sure.
But
trip out, man.
Even just going nature-fied, you have senses.
That's part of that.
Yeah,
nice.
When you have senses, and unfortunately our lifestyles block a lot of those, but if you stay down and true to nature, you feel it all, you already know, steer clear. You just already know. You might not be able to zero on the reason, but the reason doesn't really matter if it's fight or flight or whatever. Just steer clear.
Right.
It's got a bad vibe.
No, I have a positive spot when I go out in the morning, when I walk, and just stand there for 5 minutes and do a little meditation and look up to the sky.
Yep.
Just to get some cleansing.
Yeah.
So wait, I got to bring Karney back. Karney, did you know you were on a trippy show?
Yes, you do. Because all of a sudden,
you started.
she wasn't there, and I want to hear more about her.
Yeah, we're just all tripping out here. Don't But honestly, this album, you always put out positive music at the same time being able to rock it out, which I think is really cool that you do both. And I think
what a wonderful voice!
Thank
you.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
thank
totally.
you.
It's just so good to listen to it, and I can't wait. Well, we want to talk to you for a while because this is good and we enjoy this, but I can't wait to play Be Together. That song is one of my favorites because it just hit me. It's the very first time I listened to it, and then it's amazing to me that you started vocals and music all at the same time, and I've always thought that is a very hard thing to do with a band, even that it just goes like that is a hard. You normally have an intro, but it just starts. Tell us about doing that because it is hard. Well, maybe for me.
I do have to sort of silently play my first note, just so I don't mess it up.
Yeah.
So in behind the scenes, I'm playing that F. It starts on an F, and you just go for it. Sometimes it's harder, I think, to wait for a long time to come in. because then you're kind of trying to catch the surf, you know.
Oh, do I come in now? Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to, you know, lock with other people, or, you know, not daydream because you're listening to their music and enjoying it so much that you forget to come in. You know, and it's good because we just recently did a show where I don't know why I started the second song first. I thought I was playing the first song the whole time, and it wasn't until I started singing the lyrics that I realized, oh my God, I'm on the wrong song.
But I bet you were in tune.
Yeah, well, I think that in my mind, you know, it's sort of like you're talking about that subconscious takeover. My subconscious mind said, this is the song I want to sing first, you know. So no matter what I put on that set list, and my wonderful band, I love my band, they just followed.
Yeah. Tell everybody about your band, too, because I saw, I think it was Stefan that is always posting this band show. Like, what's going on in San Francisco? Because you've been playing there, and I've seen all these musicians. I think it's Stefan who's doing it on Facebook that I keep seeing. You guys have been playing.
You know, Bay Area is just a gold mine of talent from in every genre of music you can imagine, and so cool. And one of the nice things about, well, I shouldn't say nice, but one of the positive outcomes of our distancing and staying outside is that we've been able to do these wonderful outdoor concerts. And Stefan has been producing concerts at the Golden Gate Park Band Shell, which is a historic venue, right? And so he's been doing daily concerts, you know, when weather allows, and getting all these wonderful acts. But getting back to my band, you know, I've been working with some members for a very long time, Jeff Herrera on drums, and Eric Smith, who headed a band called the Mofessionals. And his mother, Eric's mother, was the prima ballerina of San Francisco Ballet. And so Gina and she so there's like legacy in the band. And then also our most recent addition is David Duché, who comes from New Orleans. And oddly enough, David and I actually performed on the same stage at a Folsom Street Fair when we both played for a group called Elvis or Selvis. And I was on keys and he was on bass, and we were on stage together years ago, and now we're playing together in my band, and he's just wonderful. He's so talented and so positive. And then there's the guys that sometimes I hire in the studio when these guys can't make it. So there's like this, you know, sort of large community of musicians that I work with, and that's Kevin White and James DePrado, who they both come from the Chuck Prophet Band, and they work with the producer Michael Rosen. Michael and I go way, way back. He recorded the very first band I ever was in when he was a student at San Francisco State. And so we just keep going, keep making music in the Bay Area. And then my husband, who is, you know, amazingly talented, Bill Ortiz, who played trumpet with Santana. So he plays all the trumpet on the album. If you've listened to it, there's a Neil Young cover of Heart of Gold, and he took Neil Young's harmonica and transcribed it for three-part trumpet, and it kind of has a mariachi vibe to it, you know. So
cool.
It's all and Jim Bogios, who's from Counting Crows. I mean, these are all kind of the large
Crows.
picture.
And who doesn't love Santana too? Yeah, you know, it's we had Cindy on our show like a few years. I think it was the same year you were on, actually.
Super cool.
Man, she's one of the most badass. I love to see women
badass drummer.
She is one of the best. I mean, you know, whether she was with Carlos or, you know, Lenny Kravitz. Yeah, just watching her do solos, I'm like, holy cow, that woman's got energy. But and then what's that like for you? I think, you know, we look at women in rock, we've progressed. Wouldn't you say we've really progressed over the last 50 years in music of being in the forefront?
They got girls playing guitar on TV now, so in commercials. So that's something.
I mean,
but the funny thing about that is that you women are more talented than us males.
Well, you
know, really
we've got our times,
really
but I'll never forget
because
seeing
you
Tina
put
Weymouth.
in that emotion, unlike what we do.
Well, that's
anyway,
a very generous statement.
Cheers
that's a very generous
ladies.
statement. Thank you. But I'll never forget Tina Weymouth and the Talking Heads playing bass, and she was like 8 months pregnant. And she's up there on the stage with the belly playing bass with the Talking Heads. And I was like, that is badass. I mean, that's, that takes some power.
Yeah. I mean, it's even like Sheryl Crow gets up there and plays bass and sings. I'm like, how do you even do that? I mean, whether it's male or female, how do you do that? To me, that's got to be the hardest thing. And even playing guitar, do you ever take the guitar, put it down while you're performing and just sing, or do you always play guitar?
I kind of always play guitar because the way I write music is the lyrics and the music kind of happen at the same time. And so they kind of are one thing. And it's kind of weird to separate them out. When I do tracks, I kind of have to do one track where I play and sing at the same time and then overdub with just guitar so I don't lose the rhythm. I'll change the rhythm. That's one of, I don't know whether it's a blessing or a curse, but every time I play something, if I don't have something to hang on to, then I just change it,
But that's cool. I think that's
that is
innovative.
A blessing.
Yeah, that's a blessing. And I understand when you're recording that people might get upset with that, but I think it's a blessing when you play live and you make it your own every time. I like that.
Yeah, well,
Good, Nancy.
For 25 years, I played piano for dance classes, and one of the both ballet and modern and jazz and all kinds of styles. And one of the things is that I never used sheet music. I mean, I can read music pretty well, but I never used sheet music. And so it got into this, like, I was just constantly improvising, constantly. And so that's probably one of the reasons that I just keep changing things is it's kind of my habit,
I think it's a good thing. Change is always good. And it's good for the listener, too. I mean, and it leads you down different places. That's where change leads you down different creative paths. And it's like, oh, I didn't know about that. Ooh,
That's why live performances mean so much.
Yeah,
it's going to always be different.
That's right. That's why live performance is so special, is because you were there in that moment when that happened, and that's never going to happen again. And that's the same thing with stage. I mean, there's no two performances of any stage performance that are exactly the same.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
Are you
and that's
getting
what
to
makes
do
it
more?
human.
Are you getting to do more now? Like, I know there's the Omicron thing, and we're still we're traveling full time, so we're always ducking and diving. It's like, don't cough on me. You know what I mean?
We have,
but I mean,
we haven't yet gone inside, but we're doing a lot of outdoor festivals. That's kind of what we're doing right now. And we just did a live streaming, but we will. I mean, I think that it appears, and I don't want to, speak before it, but it appears that as the summer months come along, that we'll be able to move indoors, which is kind of odd when you think about it. Summer months, we're going to move indoors. But, just to be able to do that. But I really like the outdoor festivals. I've spent so many years in nightclubs, and the vibe is so different. I mean, I love the nightclub vibe. I grew up in the nightclub vibe. But there's something just so, inclusive about outdoor festivals. The passerby, I just think it's just more accessible in many ways. You don't have to be 21. You can do it in the middle of the day, so older citizens can, older people can come by and rock out, not have to be up at 10 o'clock to see their favorite band, So there's something about that.
Something
that
about
I really
the outdoors too that is also about being more connected with nature. That I always felt like our band used to rehearse in a park in Oceanside, California, this historic village. And they're like, yeah, you can go in the gazebo and rehearse. And I'm like, you have no idea what you just said we could do. Like, that was dangerous. And it was. But there was this feeling of like this extra feeling of freedom because you get a little breeze and you felt like nature was with. I don't know. There's just this extra feeling.
You're not closed off.
No.
And your vibrations of your music keep going.
Oh, we're back to the vibrations.
And, because they're not bouncing off walls and coming back. They're free. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hopefully, if you're a singer, you have a good monitor.
That's the only problem. The sound is the sound can really. Yeah, that's how I tore up my lungs.
The sound does keep
voice.
going.
It does.
Yep.
It's cool.
It does. So, Gonna Be Beautiful. So that is out February 18th, right? So
that's right.
So you've been busy. So you put out some other recordings since when we talked with you with No Mercy in 2018. So you've been busy.
Well, put out that song Better, which I personally like. I don't know if you heard it. I put it out probably the year before we had a transition in power in this country. And and just trying to...
Do we remember that?
What you talking about?
and what a gentle transition it was.
Yeah.
Anyhow, and so I just thought that, as in our souls, I thought we were kind of a hot mess back then, and not that we're coming around, but it was pretty bad back then, and I thought we could do better, and so I thought I'd write a song about it. I thought that we wanted to feel better. It was also about feeling sick, and I kind of wanted to grab that meaning as well.
Somebody should write a song called "How Did That Happen?"
Yeah. but I think what's great is that you're always looking for the positive. Your music always has some kind of positivity, even if you're dealing with a topic, right, that is sensitive and maybe harsh. You're always putting this positivity out there. Is that something that just comes to you naturally and it comes out, or are you saying, I want my voice to do this?
Well, actually, it was a transition because I came from the punk era, and I was actually writing songs that were pretty harsh to begin with, pretty, I don't know, hard hitting, and I sort of. Well, I think the last one I did was that was kind of hard hitting was called "I Got Mine," and it was it's not that long ago. It's on the Manifest Destiny sequence of songs, and it talks about guns and it talks about greed and selfishness, and is not particularly positive. And so I thought at one point, well. I think that we're at a point now where we need positive feelings now because there's so much negativity going on. I don't think I need to go down that road anymore. So I really made a conscious choice to try to be more positive. And I'm a pretty optimistic person, but I ride kind of in the middle sometimes of being pessimistic and optimistic. And I thought, I've spent many years speaking truth, right? Hard truth, in your face truth. And now I thought, well, maybe I can sort of, do the whole bridging to positivity, going from what to what it can be. And in that song, Gonna Be Beautiful, it's kind of a play on words when all the paints run together. It's kind of like when we all run together, when we're all, sort of wherever we're coming from, we've got some core values that we can all share, like, respecting the planet, respecting each other, things, just core values that we can run together on. And then also, the rainbow of people on the planet, if we can all be together, at the same time and not trip on what's different about each other or be threatened by one another, we can sort of be on the same page of health and harmony. And so I'm trying to say all of that in one word.
Yeah, I know, but you're doing it in music, and I think it's the same. Punk was about creating awareness, right? It's like wake up and listen. If you just look at music genres, and it's like, hello, like this is unfair, this is bull, and then just rock is like, hey, I'm gonna wake you up still, but like here's some tenderness to get you through to listen and do. So it's two different wake up calls of getting the message across. And we did the same thing. I mean, we had our show Rants, Raves, and Rock and Roll for a while, and it got. I mean, we used to call the White House and teach people how to call the White House, and we called Monsanto and the corn people, and we've gotten ourselves in a lot of trouble. But we got mad, and we felt like we were banging our heads against the wall, and like how much was that? How it was effective. But there was a place that had to go further, and that's how we ended up traveling, just to connect, because we were always about saving land. And,
and
that goes with the land and the parks teach people history and the arts, by the way. The arts are hugely connected.
Absolutely.
And so we were like, we need to just go out in the field. And now, traveling full time now, we're out in the field literally, and with COVID we ended up pet sitting as a way of travel, and it's the best thing on the number one. We love animals, and we're in places, but we're actually a little bit more in touch with people and communities, socially distanced as best we can, and it was just a way to stay socially distanced, and I wish we'd done it sooner because we're more connected. And it's a better thing when you can have that connection and that resonation. But you do have to get punky once in a while. You know what I mean? It's like you can't. When it's time to be a punk, it's time to be a punk. Like I'm just talking generally, not necessarily on your music, but you have to be punky once in a while. I know Steve knows that I get punky.
That's fine to get punky. It's fine.
Yeah, you gotta get punky.
I mean, you can't like be too Pollyannic sometimes.
No, you can't.
That's not realistic, right?
Exactly, it's not true. People are people.
With all the as much as we want to go to our happy place, and we should go to our happy place because it keeps us strong. I think facing truth is how we get through them. It's like any other kind of psychological dysfunction, the more you bury it, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
And so, that's unfortunately the case. We have a lot to contend with right now, but with a positive energy and community, I think that, we can keep that positive spin going. And we've come a long way. I mean, I think we backtrack and then we move forward, and then we backtrack and then we move forward. But I feel that we have been pretty much keeping the ball rolling, and maybe one of the signs of that is that people don't like change, and there's a lot of change happening.
It is, and I think COVID was
thing.
a terrible thing, and people died and got sick. People argued, obviously, that this division thing is still there. However, people are getting to their roots individually. No matter what political party, people have got to their roots of, do I really want to go be in a crazy work atmosphere where I'm not with my family anymore? Those kind of just serious life decisions are being made, and people are realizing that their time is so much more valuable. When we were very fast-paced before COVID, and when we all had to be sheltered in place for a month, we all went bonkers, but then had to turn around and realize no matter how bonkers we are, we're all going to have to get along with this. You can't stay bonkers. You're going to have to move past the bonkers mode and then get into a new zone. And I think that was a huge lesson for society around the world. And it was horrible, but a positive
Mommy Nature has a way of just going, hey, remember, you came from me, wake up. You don't control what you think you control. And just a big slap in the face to humanity that you are not all what you think you are yet. And just a big wake-up call that you do not control everything.
Yeah, and that drives some people crazy. And then
know.
they sometimes people, and I don't say that I don't do this in my own way. I'm sure I do, and we all have sort of personal blinders on. But I try to spot when I'm not able to sort of roll with the changes and adjust and adapt. My occupation requires that I adapt immediately and on the spot, and I'm a public school teacher, and so I have to adjust according to many different. I get pulled in many. We all teachers get pulled in many different directions.
Absolutely.
And so, to be able to adjust and to adapt is our survival, and it's survival for everybody. People in the medical world have to adapt, have to adjust. People who are in, law enforcement have to adjust. People who are firefighters. I mean, all the areas where we deal with people and humans and the human experiences, it's always changing. Always.
So when you look at it in a way, I look at our situation now, the loudest voice, does it come from people like you, or is it coming from I'm just sitting in front of the TV and watching stuff and voicing off?
And I didn't catch that last part.
I just said that I feel that sometimes the biggest critics of everything that's happening are the people who are doing nothing.
Yeah, armchair athletes.
There you go. And good one. Good one. They say on Super Bowl Sunday is when they have the most people. Well, before COVID, this is pre-COVID, that the most hospitalizations in the year was every time on Super Bowl Sunday, because people got all inspired and started playing football and running off the couch and jumping off the couch that have been inactive, and then they end up in the ER. So
I know. I jumped off my couch and sprained my ankle. Oh, you poor person.
I know. It's like, let's go run outside and be football players. Oops, that hurt when we butted heads, or crashed into each other. We don't, but and maybe put the beer bottle down.
Home.
I know.
Don't try this.
Anna, I wanted to ask about the song Trust. The song Trust to me, I love that song. It just, I think it's a natural part of it, and talking about the mountain, who's singing about the mountains, and it's like there was this. It's content, man. The beginning of it just made me feel so content, and just in a beautiful space, and took me. I mean, everyone's got their thing with their song, so I don't want to encroach on when people listen to the song what it's about. But where were you when you wrote that? Like, were you in your hometown?
Oh yeah, I had this idea. It came from wanting to write a new national anthem.
Sweet, cool. I said
Go for it.
It's so hard to sing the one that we have. I have nothing to get. It's a nice, fine song that was adapted from an English drinking song, but only one of my sopranos in my choir can hit the high note. And I'm thinking, people, I mean, that's what makes it so remarkable when people sing it at games and they really nail it, is that it's a hard song to sing. So, we didn't want to have This Land Is Your Land because it was just too socialist for the world. So, but because that was in the 1930s, they tried to make that song the national anthem. And it's very easy to sing. That's one thing you can say about it. So I thought that I would write a song that had all our American, like bit pieces of all of our songs wrapped up into one song. And that comes out a little later. And then it sort of evolved into this. I was thinking about how, the red state, blue state thing, and rural versus urban, not versus, but rural and urban, being in the same country. And we have this massive country. We're like the size, practically of Europe. And I'm thinking, the French and the Italians, they have completely different cultures with different national anthems and different languages, and they occupy the same space as we do in the United States. We're a very large country with multi facets of culture, which is, a part of our charm and part of our difficulty. And so I tried to paint the picture of somebody who, you know, and I'm working on that song, Home on the Range, you know. I was trying to bring that song in. And so out here on the open range, you know, that came to me. And then I'm thinking about myself being, you know, cut my teeth inside the concrete walls, you know. And that, you know, in the mountains stay solid. They don't move. And it kind of felt to me like tradition. You know, this has been my tradition in my life, and you know, you're asking me to make changes, and this is not who, you know, I like to be a person who says I like to be in a place that doesn't change, as a, you know, stays the same. Beautiful country, beautiful land, and also trying to bring in the idea of how beautiful the United States was at a certain time when it was just wide open wild lands, you know, and then coming to the urban side of things where things are constantly changing, you know. When I walk around my hometown, you know, what was once the corner store is now Twitter or something, you know. And so, you know, I just tried to create that contrast and then talk about trust, because we're having a trust problem in this country, you know. You know, we're having a hard time believing one another and believing in one another. And I, you know, so I'm sorry, long answer to your question.
No, but it's really right. We do a show on trust every third Thursday with Lee Brovedani. She's known as the trust architect. She comes on our shows and we talk about trust, and it's really for, you know, the corporate workplace and or any workplace, you know. But it still starts with being personal, and we talk about the country. And she always talks about the problem with trust. Trust is when you talk, it's either belief, opinion, or fact. And right now, we were just talking about this. Her next show airs this coming Thursday. And it's like, no matter what, belief, opinion, fact. So fact is fact. A lot of us have beliefs that have been passed down through tradition and family and whatever. And then there's the opinion. And we're arguing more on opinion and belief than fact. And that is a fact. Unfortunately. So it's kind of, it's a sad thing, but I love that song so much. I wanted to play it, but we do have to play Be Together, because I think I love that you even have it that goes from trust to be together. You know, I think that's a good line. What's next coming up for you?
Well, I'm working on more songs. I'm toying with the idea of exploring the instrumental part of what we do, because I'm working with such great musicians. And you are. My latest purchase of music was I don't know if you are familiar with Led Zeppelin's Going to California. Yeah, they put out just the mandolin guitar part, and it's no vocals, no bass, no drums, and it's just beautiful. I mean, it's just the epitome of English Celtic meets kind of, in a way, bluegrass in a way. And so I'm just exploring that. I'm not sure where that's going to lead me. And then just trying to play more. I've got about 5 choir concerts with my group, my youth group. So that's taking up a lot of my time. We're about to do an all-city thing where we're going to incorporate at the Golden Gate Park Band Shell. So for those of you who are in San Francisco, April 16th, come on out. It'll be elementary through high school, public school choral music.
Awesome.
And just, you know, trying to keep school music going as much as possible, because it's so important. And by the way, that's who I wanted to do my champagne toast.
I was going to get there, but listen, before you do your champagne toast, I want to say, going back to Led Zeppelin, going to California, check out Makana, Makana. He's one of the top 10 slack key guitar players in the world, and he's been on our show for years. And on his album Ripe, he's got Going to California, and he plays slack key guitar, and he also sings. And he puts himself way up there in the high registers, like that. Like when you listen to his regular music, and you listen to it, was like, whoa, dude, you can do that. And he did. And he did it very well. But take a listen to that because it just has that exactly what you're talking about, that instrumental version, even though he sings in it. Listen to it in the slack key. It's pretty interesting. He just nailed it. Yeah, so take a listen on that. Makana, Makana. Yeah, he's incredible. We have to get him back on the show. He's an amazing artist out of Hawaii, and
it's been a long time.
And he's played for president. He did. Oh my gosh, we played his songs. He did the song. We Are the Change, Nancy. Oh my gosh, it's We Are the Many. We Are the Many.
Yeah, and you are the few.
Nice.
You are the. We are the
sounds
many.
interesting.
Yeah, I know. We are the
he
many.
Played it.
And
He
you
played
are
it
the few.
at White House dinners and stuff, and these political things, and he was basically playing to the audience, talking about you're all the bankers and you're the ones taking all our money, right? You're doing this. You're the ones drilling the oil. You're doing all of this stuff, right?
I have to hand it to you.
You name it. And he ended up being hired to perform, and he was in a restaurant playing this, and he's all there for dinner. He was supposed to perform and leave, and the people just let him play. So he started playing this song like for 3 to 4 hours nonstop to those people. It was so cool.
That's hilarious.
It's like that was
great.
fun. That was awesome. We Are the Many. Yeah, we used to play that all the time on our Rents and Rave shows because it is. We are the many. You are the few. Take that, political people. Just saying.
Yeah, think about it, people.
Exactly. But what is your champagne toast? We have to have that.
Well, I'm going to give a champagne toast out to my junior high school band teacher, Mr. Pleasure.
What?
Nice.
Pleasure.
Oh, poor guy.
No way. That's a name. I'll never forget.
God.
This was going on the book. This is going on the book. Was that really his name?
He was the most gregarious, wonderful. He's still with us, and just the most amazing music educator ever. Awesome. And those of us who were lucky enough to be in his classes know that he inspired, and he cursed up the storm in the class.
Right on.
You know, he was Mr. Pleasure, and I have to thank him because he kept me on the music track. And that's what music educators do. And shout out to all the music educators out there who are listening. Keep it real, keep strong, keep going, because you are important.
Awesome.
Big time.
I love it.
I love that. I love that his name is Mr. Pleasure, and he lived up to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is the coolest thing. That is so cool. Now Steve's got the giggles. That's it. You know. But I mean, it's like imagine going on a date. My name is Mr. Pleasure, but really, I'm sorry. Because Steve's got the giggles, and you know where I'm going. I'm just gonna laugh, but stop it, Steve.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But really, that is, teachers and keeping the arts in schools is huge. We have to. Creativity and imagination. We talk about what we're going into this world with, AI and green cars, green electricity, all of this stuff, The only way we get to all these amazing inventions and all of the things to move us forward is through the arts and creativity. Music leads to electric cars. I'm right? Anna, come on, it's true. You've got music teaches math.
It's an industry, is really what it is. Arts and industry. You have one side of your brain figures out the math, the other side of the brain figures out what to do with that math.
But do you really want to be in a world where everything is done for you and you do nothing?
No.
Well, I just think I just hope the saxophone doesn't become antiquated,
Oh, I love the saxophone and
or the clarinet.
No, we can't.
Or a drum.
Yeah. No, there's something that the original instruments, you can have all the sampling in the world, which is great, but there is something amazing about the original thing.
I love all music. I love all music, really seriously, unless it says something that is negative, and then I'm not with it, right? And that's really the lyrics. But in terms of sonics, my tastes are really very eclectic. But I will say that, sometimes people might say, well, it's a DJ world now, and I will, you know, in terms of, you know, what youth are interested in. But I think about, you know, a young man who was put into a boarding school and didn't know that he was a trumpet player. Somebody put a cornet in his hand, right? Some music teacher put a cornet in his hand, and he became Louis Armstrong.
Yeah.
You know, and he started, and that instrument, or Miles Davis, you know, or John Coltrane, or any of those artists who represent culture and change and you know, it's really important to stay connected to those roots, you know.
I agree.
Absolutely. Like, you could be a DJ, but what are you going to play if nobody's making the music? Come on.
Exactly.
Well, you know, even if you're mixing, you're using a lot of people. There are DJs who do original things, though. I mean, there's like, you can have, there are DJs that do their own electronica, and that's great because, you know, that's an instrument. That's an instrument. As long as whatever it is, you're being original and creative and trying to move forward and break the, you know, sort of stretch the envelope and not just rely on what has been done before. Because I do believe, and this is not an original Anna Karney thought, but I do believe that artists are probably one of the few areas that just keeps moving forward. We don't want to recreate, real artists don't want to recreate the past. That's been done. So we keep pushing forward. We might utilize things from the past. We might touch on things in the past, but we're not going to, a painter is not going to want to paint like Rembrandt. They're going to move on, and they're going to take in what Rembrandt did and move on into their own expression, you know. So that's a really important part of art, and it keeps society moving forward and evolving and growing.
I agree.
Rembrandt used to grind up the chemicals and make his own paints. I seriously don't want to do that.
No, and we've got to run. Karney, it's been Karney. I'm so used to Karney. Anna, thank you for joining us. I agree with you 100%. I know Steve, thank you for joining us too. It's been so cool to have you back on the show. We got you out of the bush.
Yes, you did.
Nice to connect with you, Steve.
And you said voice.
I did. I said the world.
Thank you so much, Lisa and Nancy.
Oh,
really
thank
appreciate you. And nice to meet you, Steve.
Your
very
music,
much.
you know, same here. Your music is beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And mine
thank you, Anna.
My choice is beignets and Irish coffee.
See what beignets? We didn't do the fast food thing with her. That's it. Beignets.
Right.
Then we get to go to New Orleans. So I'll go there.
Yeah, Priscilla was sleeping on the job.
Well, she gets
That's
to once
okay.
in a while.
I just want to put that in there. Beignets and Irish coffee.
I'm with you on that. Let's do it. I want that now. But we're going to play Be Together. I'm going to play Be Together now. Anna, thank you so much again. Just such a pleasure, and keep rocking the good stuff. You're doing such amazing work. Everyone, Karney.org is the website. Karney. You can also find her on Bandcamp, and everything is released on February 18th. You can pre-order, do all that good stuff. But keep up with her also on Facebook, and she's on Instagram. Thanks so much. It has been a pleasure, Anna. Thank you, Nancy, for being such a good mother.
Thank you all. Really appreciate it.
All right, here it is. Be Together. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio. We love you all.
Thank you, Nancy, Lisa.